Hello everyone, this is JammerP and today we are not matched against someone, but I'm going to summon for Eligos, as his banner is probably the last week right now and I'm pretty late because I didn't have the chance to do this video and I wanted to record that, so we are going to summon for Eligos right away after this short intro. See you in a moment. Hello, I'm down here now again, of course, as always after the intro, and let's start right away with the summoning, because as you can see, I do have enough bookmarks, so it's not a question if I can get him, but when I will get him, and if I have to pity. So let's simply start with the summoning there, and I hope the performance of my LD player isn't too bad, because LD player really, since the last update on Epic 7, it's lagging a lot. I'm thinking about switching to another emulator there because I always record my videos on LD player and it worked fine so far. But lately it's really it does have some FPS drops, and that's really annoying, especially when recording. And when I do the Guild War videos, it's really annoying to have these freeze frames and stuff. And sometimes it seems to work. I already tried to update LD player. I'm not even sure if it is a problem with LD player, but it seems like some people have a similar problem. But I'm not sure about that. I'm really not sure. So the problem is, before that I used BlueStacks, and when switching to my new PC, BlueStacks didn't really work. I mean, it did work, but my antivirus software simply, well, it didn't like BlueStacks. It liked LD Player a lot more, so that worked better. And also the performance was better in the beginning for LD Player. And there's an artifact. Is it his artifact? That would be pretty nice. Yeah. Okay, I don't complain. I don't complain. That's totally fine. That's his artifact. What's it doing? When attacking with a single attack, penetrates the target's defense by 10%. When defeating an enemy with a single attack, increases combat of the ally with the highest combat, except for the caster by... Oh, it doesn't sound too bad. I'm not sure what to think about that artifact. I think it has its niche. I think it's okay. But I think it cannot probably compete with other artifacts on Rangers. Because, well, many Rangers are... not many. Rangers are so versatile. It's you have Briar Witch Iseria as a ranger. Briar Witch Iseria isn't really a support character. She deals a lot of damage, and I think with Extinction, that's really something. Ranger is really hard to pin down, so yeah. It might be useful on some Rangers, especially as that's a really versatile class. So yeah, it's probably not too bad. I don't think it's something you need to have, but maybe on some Rangers it might work nicely. Maybe. I'm really not sure. Have to think about the defense penetration is nice. It sounds not too high, but I'm not sure. When you memory imprint, that does get higher, right? It did have an orange number. I'm not sure. I have to read that again. But if that has an orange number and can get higher, it might be interesting, because defense penetration is always interesting, and paired up with a decent hero, that might actually do some really big damage there. I'm just not sure if another artifact might be stronger. And that combat readiness effect, that really does sound a little bit situational. I'm really not sure when that might be useful and how that might be useful. I mean, combat readiness push is always interesting and always good, of course. Of course. But if I remember correctly, it's only when you defeat an enemy. So yeah, then your Eligos or whomever you are going to give that artifact has to really one-shot an opponent, probably in the beginning. And I'm not sure. And it's a single target artifact, right? It's not for someone who attacks all enemies. I'm not sure. I have to read up on that again. It looks decent, but yeah. And now we're down to 80 till pity. There are a lot of poofs in there. There are a lot of poofs, but yeah. Not the right one, sadly. I could try to do the 10 summon, but I prefer the single summon, to be honest. Oh, and there he is. That was rather quick. And I didn't have to burn.
You want to know who I am? It's probably better if you don't know.
I didn't have to burn too many resources, so that's pretty nice. I like his aesthetic. Aesthetics. Oh, that's a word there. I like his aesthetics. I really like what they did with him. I really like him in the story. The Dagger Sicar is the name of the organization. That's pretty nice. I like the stories around them. So I'm looking forward to next season, because I think next season is going to be with the vampires and Dagger Sicar and something with Blood Moon Haste and what she called the vampire lady there. And so that's probably going to be interesting. Yeah, there he is. I probably have to clean up a little bit so I can get him out of my waiting room. Not waiting room, the storage there. And then I can lock him. I think I really have to re-equip my Aramintha because I stole some gear from her. He sounds okay, as far as I heard. I'm not sure about him, but he sounds okay. It doesn't seem like a must-have. I have to have him because I gotta catch them all. So I simply have to have him. Because you never know when someone is getting buffed, and if I do have the resources, so it would be a waste not to summon on him, because, well, then I have him. I don't have to wait for him in case he gets buffed or becomes useful in combination with another unit. So let's see, what's the rating there? 4.4. Okay, that's okay. That's decent. I think that's pretty low, and it seems like the community doesn't really like his skill set so far, because 4.4 is rather low. But I think he might have his uses. I think he might be a decent off-meta unit. Something you can surprise an enemy with. Someone you can put into defense and the enemy does not know how to counter him, how to play against him. And that's really a strength many people underestimate. I used to play a lot of chess back in the days, and I loved to play the openings that were non-meta, so to say. Usually when I played chess, people like to play Spanish and Italian and Queen's Gambit. And I like to play off meta. I like to play Reti's opening. I'm not sure what's that in English. Reti. That's R-E-T-I. That's the knight on F3 in the first move. Because it was really flexible, and you didn't have to play against theory knowledge of the enemy. You could play against the enemy. So that's the same with off-meta units. That's the real strength of off-meta units. You can play against the enemy, and he has to think for himself. He cannot simply follow a guide, or he has to Google something And many people don't do that. They don't bother with that, and rather they lose. So that's the big strength of off-meta unit. Maybe I really should do a video on that, right? I thought about that. I think I even said that in a previous summoning video. I really should do a video on off-meta units. I'm not really a big number cruncher, and that's really the main thing why I'm holding back, because I cannot really compete with any theoretical knowledge, because I'm not really into deep theory or something like that. I play from the gut, and so that's my gut feeling is mostly what I'm playing with. And I think that's when off-meta units are the strongest, because you really can play against the human enemy and not the online guide, so to say. So yeah, that's Eligos there. And I locked him, and that's about it. I hope you enjoyed my little summoning video and also my rambling on. And yeah, maybe I think I will do a video on that, but it might take some time. I think it's not time sensitive, and I don't have the time at the moment. I have to write a short story because the deadline is approaching, and I have to do that. But maybe afterwards. Maybe afterwards I can do that. Okay, so I hope you have an amazing evening, day, weekend, week, whatever, when you watch that video, and you will probably hear me again in the next Guild War or the next summoning video. So until then, bye bye.